Hello everyone, my name is Wally Farron and you're watching Tech Roundup, your weekly opinion, views and analysis of the top tech events happening around the world with a focus on Nigeria. On today's show, our anchor story this week is on SCC's new incubation program for Nigerian Fintechs. And finally, our guest this week, Christopher Abiodun, who is the co-founder and CTO for Farmcrowdy. Also, please stay tuned to Tech Roundup Weekly, which is right after our first story. We're hearing that the Security Exchange Commission, the SCC, is starting a regulatory incubation program, which they're setting out for fintechs. And the idea is really to really come into that space and start providing some oversight and regulatory framework through which these fintechs can operate in that space. According to the story, it seems like fintechs are in that space waiting to be regulated and just looking for oversight. And I think this program is really aimed at bringing stakeholders from the regulatory perspective as well as from the innovative perspective together to work together over a period of time and begin to put framework around what can be done and what cannot be done in that space. They're looking at it from taking applications in and then creating cohorts that will run over a 1-year period. Generally, I think it's a good development in the space, and I think it's obviously worth talking about, and that's why we're bringing it as a story this week on the show. But my perspective is I'm just going to look at it from 3 different perspectives. The first one is regulatory. I think it's time. According to the story, a lot of fintechs are seeking that kind of oversight in that space, and I think it can help to really put that framework together so that people know that I'm licensed to do this and there's regulatory framework backing me to be able to do this, and it can sort of put barrier to entry there, which every entrepreneur, every serious company wants. You want to weed out the serious guys from the guys who are not really ready to come into that space. So from that's a really good development. 2, I think it brings government closer to innovation, and it helps them to develop policies that can help innovation. We've seen that in fintech, at large. We've seen that specifically in payments. We've seen that in insurance, and I think bringing that into the capital market is also really going to help. And lastly, I think from an entrepreneurial innovation standpoint, the entrepreneurs can feel like this space is finally being recognized as an important space where technology can help to move things forward, and that can help to foster innovation in the space. More players can look at that space and say, finally, there's government participation here. I can come in and I know that my investment is protected. I was reading in the news earlier today about one mobile application now licensed for stock trading in Nigeria, which is really good and important. Other players can come into the space. So let me bring you guys in. What are your thoughts about what is happening in the capital market with SCC jumping into this and providing this regulatory program for fintechs to come in? Christopher, I'll take you first.
Okay, so you've actually said almost everything. Yes. I'm happy that the government has recognized that they can nurture us, not just wield the big hammer every time. They can actually nurture us. They can shape us to exactly how it's supposed to be done, still allowing us to innovate and do what we want to do, but telling us, this one is not good, this one is not good. You can do it, you can pass here, do it anyhow you like, but just pass here, go this way and all that. So like I said, and so it's governments, and if the more they understand us, the more they can create policies to make us flourish. And the only way that can happen is that. So one of the only ways it can happen is that that hub that they've created. 12 months, I think, is too much, but I think they really want to put it in us, like it's like instilling discipline in us, because we know we are young, just do anyway. So they want to make sure that we do it well and follow the law in doing it well. Fantastic idea.
I mean, I like your comment about the 12 months period. I also was thinking that this is a long time to have this program. But I think in so far, I think in so far as they will allow the companies to continue to operate as if they were, with or without the incubation. I'm still operating. I'm still gathering. I'm still acquiring customers. I'm still providing services. Government is just looking very closely at what I'm doing to understand it and to put framework and policies together. And maybe subsequently, they can then reduce the length of time after a couple of cohorts have gone through the process. Let me bring Jenny in quickly as well. What do you think about this program generally, and how do you think this is going to accelerate innovation in the Nigerian capital market?
I think that it's definitely accelerating innovation. Fintech is a space that is absolutely thriving in the country right now, thriving probably more than any other tech space in the country. And I think that the government sees that and wants to be a part of that growth. So, I'm all for the SEC being developing a program like this. Incubation programs are always very helpful in creating mentoring, giving startups access to markets and all of that good stuff. So I'm very, very, excited to see how it unfolds. I mean, you guys are talking about 12 months being too long. You should be happy that they haven't doing anything at all. So I'm excited to see how it all pans out and it all plays out. But at the same time, I just also wanted to bring in the fact that I think it's not fair that the government seems to only be interested in fintech. What about the other tech spaces? What about health tech? We really need help in the health tech sector. We need help in so many, and agri tech. A lot of other sectors. So I feel like maybe they should consider doing something similar for the other sectors that are in the space.
You make a very good point. You make a very good point. But I think we will get there. I think, like everything else, government is following the money right now, and they will follow other things. The point is noted. I think there are other sectors within tech that needs this kind of focus. Healthcare is one. Access to healthcare is good for everyone, and I think there are innovators who are already looking into that space, and I think it's a matter of time. Government will get there. Now we'll take a short break for highlights from this week in tech. This is Tech Roundup Weekly. Enjoy. That's all we have time for this week. As always, we'd love to hear your comments and feedback, so please connect with me on LinkedIn and on Twitter at Wale Farron. And please remember to subscribe to the Tech Roundup YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Also, please like us on Facebook and on Instagram and be part of our ever vibrant tech community. Have a great week ahead, guys. Until next week, good night.